Stop for a second and ask yourself, does she truly value you? Or are you just filling a space in her life until someone better comes along? Here's the truth most men never face. Women are wired to signal value subconsciously, long before words make sense. And if you're not paying attention, you could be trapped in the role of a backup option without even realizing it. The signs are subtle, psychological, and brutally effective. Ignoring them costs time, emotional energy, and self-respect. The first and most common red flag is inconsistency. She reaches out when it's convenient for her, disappears when she's busy, or only communicates sporadically. This isn't just life being hectic, it's her subconscious mind prioritizing other options. Women instinctively invest attention where value and security align. If you're not consistently in that primary zone, you're already being treated as secondary. Another tell is lack of effort. Does she rarely initiate plans, avoid investing time in shared experiences, or leave you guessing about her intentions? Women are experts at reading emotional energy. If she doesn't show effort, it's not laziness. It's a subtle signal that she doesn't see you as a priority. Most men try harder in these moments, but that's exactly what traps them in a backup role. Chasing validation only reinforces her position and diminishes yours. The third psychological pattern is emotional unavailability. She avoids vulnerability, deflects serious conversations, or keeps her options open emotionally. Women intuitively protect themselves and their primary interests. If you are treated as an emotional fallback, she'll maintain distance to preserve her main focus while using you as comfort or convenience. Men often misinterpret this as mystery or independence, but it's a strategic allocation of attention. Subtle manipulation is another warning. If she sends mixed signals, tests your patience, or drops compliments inconsistently, your brain is being conditioned to chase approval. Backup options are often praised just enough to keep them engaged, but never fully affirmed as a priority. It's a slow psychological trap disguised as casual attention. Here's your reflection challenge. Think about her patterns. Are her actions consistent and committed, or do they leave you questioning your value? Drop your answer in the comments, like, subscribe, and share this with a man who needs to wake up to these truths before he invests more than he should. Here's a truth most men refuse to admit. When a woman keeps you as a backup, it's rarely blatant, it's psychological. She doesn't need to hurt you intentionally. Her behavior is subtle, calculated, and rooted in evolutionary instincts. Women scan for security, consistency, and high value, often without conscious awareness. If you're not meeting her primary criteria, she will keep you in reserve while her attention and energy are focused elsewhere. One of the clearest signs is limited future talk. Does she avoid conversations about your relationship's direction, commitments, or long-term plans? Does she dodge discussions about exclusivity or emotional alignment? Women instinctively communicate priority through planning and investment. If she never integrates you into her future, it's a strong subconscious indicator that you're being held as an option, not a priority. Another warning sign is conditional availability. If she only reaches out during her convenience, late nights, or moments of boredom, it's a red flag. Women communicate desire and priority through consistent effort. Sporadic attention, unanswered messages, or last-minute cancellations are subtle signals that she is keeping her options open elsewhere while maintaining your engagement. Most men misread this as being mysterious or independent, but it's strategic withholding. Emotional withdrawal is another psychological cue. Does she share selectively, offer minimal vulnerability, or avoid deep discussions? Women invest emotionally only in people they consider primary. If she maintains emotional distance while giving occasional warmth, she's sending mixed signals intentionally or subconsciously. This keeps backup men engaged, but never fully committed. The fourth subtle trap is inconsistent praise and validation. She will compliment you just enough to keep your ego engaged, but rarely affirm your value fully. This psychological technique keeps backup options motivated while reinforcing her priority elsewhere. Men often mistake this for flirtation or genuine attraction, but it's a carefully calibrated pattern designed to sustain your interest without risking her main focus. Here's your reflection challenge. Review her recent behaviors. Does she initiate plans, invest consistently and prioritize you, or is she subtly keeping you on standby? Drop your answer in the comments. Like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs to see these hidden patterns before they lose more time and energy. Here's a brutal truth most men refuse to face. When a woman is keeping you as a backup, her actions will always outweigh her words. Women are masters of subtle communication, and even casual comments, tone, or timing reveal priorities. If you're only hearing her words without analyzing her behavior, you're already falling into the trap. One of the clearest signs is her responsiveness, or lack of it. Does she take hours to reply to messages, answer inconsistently, or only engage when convenient for her? It's not just about texting habits. It's a reflection of where you fall on her priority list. Women naturally invest their attention toward people they value most. If you're treated as optional, your availability becomes hers to manage, creating a subconscious dynamic where you chase while she maintains control. Another critical red flag is avoidance of commitment. She may flirt, spend time with you casually, and share moments of intimacy, but she avoids defining the relationship or discussing long-term involvement. This is psychological shorthand for keeping options open. Men often rationalize it as independence or letting things flow, but the truth is that backup men are rarely integrated into a primary future. Her avoidance communicates a lack of investment. Mixed signals are another subtle yet powerful indicator. She may express interest one day, then withdraw the next. Compliments, warmth, and attention are delivered inconsistently. This psychological pattern keeps you engaged emotionally while maintaining her own freedom to explore other possibilities. It's not cruelty, it's instinct and strategy, and it preys on men who derive value from her attention rather than their own self-worth. The fourth warning sign is her energy allocation. Observe where she invests her time and effort. Does she prioritize other men, social circles, or personal pursuits over you? Does she make an effort for her own life, but rarely for shared experiences? Women signal priority through actions more than words. If you consistently feel secondary, it's a psychological reality, not perception. Here's your reflection challenge. Look at her actions over the last month. Do they consistently show you as a priority, or are they signaling that you're an option she can rely on when convenient? Drop your answer in the comments, like, subscribe, and share this with a man who needs to see these subtle but dangerous signals before he invests further. Here's a reality most men never fully confront. Women who keep you as a backup are masters at creating emotional tension that keeps you hooked. It's rarely dramatic. It's quiet, subtle, and psychologically calculated. You're drawn in by brief moments of attention, flirtation, or intimacy, and your brain interprets these as validation. That feeling of being almost chosen keeps you engaged far longer than you realize. One of the most dangerous signs is inconsistency in affection. She may be warm and attentive one day, distant the next, then suddenly playful or flirtatious again. This push and pull triggers the brain's reward system, making you crave her attention. It's a psychological pattern designed to hold backup options on standby, ensuring they remain emotionally invested without fully committing. Men often mistake this inconsistency for excitement or challenge, but it's a subtle manipulation of emotional energy. Another key signal is her selective availability. She may prioritize time with others, friends, or even other romantic interests, while giving you only fragments of attention. Women communicate their priorities through their energy and actions. If her presence in your life is sporadic or conditional, it's a strong indication that she's keeping you in reserve. Your desire to invest more while receiving less reinforces your role as a backup. The third red flag is vague or non-committal language. She might hint at plans but rarely solidifies them, avoid making promises, or dodge direct questions about the relationship. Words without action are empty, and women subconsciously measure value by consistency of behavior, not charm or verbal affection. If she's consistently ambiguous, it's a warning sign that you're not a priority. Another subtle but powerful indicator is how she manages conflict or tension. Women who see you as secondary often avoid resolving serious issues or creating emotional depth. Conversations stay surface level, issues are postponed, and meaningful emotional connection is minimized. This creates a sense of incompleteness and keeps you chasing while she maintains freedom to focus elsewhere. Here's your reflection challenge. Look back at her patterns. Does she make you feel secure and prioritized, or does she keep you chasing moments of attention while maintaining distance? Drop your answer in the comments, like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs to recognize these patterns before they invest more time and heart. The fourth warning sign is her energy allocation. Observe where she invests her time and effort. Does she prioritize other men, social circles, or personal pursuits over you? Does she make an effort for her own life, but rarely for shared experiences? Women signal priority through actions more than words. If you consistently feel secondary, it's a psychological reality, not perception. Here's your reflection challenge. Look at her actions over the last month. Do they consistently show you as a priority, or are they signaling that you're an option she can rely on when convenient? Drop your answer in the comments, like, subscribe, and share this with a man who needs to see these subtle but dangerous signals before he invests further. Here's a truth most men resist. If she's keeping you as a backup, her subtle behavior is designed to keep you emotionally hooked without ever fully committing. It's not about manipulation in a cruel sense. It's psychological strategy, often unconscious, that maintains her freedom while keeping your attention. Recognizing these patterns is essential if you want to protect your time, energy, and self-respect. One of the clearest signs is limited emotional investment. She may share bits of herself selectively, open up occasionally, or flirt just enough to make you feel special, but never fully invest. Women naturally prioritize emotional energy toward men they value most. If she consistently holds back intimacy, vulnerability, or time, it's a subtle but clear indication you're an option, not a priority. Another pattern is unpredictability in responsiveness. She may respond immediately at times, ignore messages at others, or only engage when it benefits her. These inconsistent interactions trigger emotional anxiety, which keeps you chasing attention. The brain interprets this inconsistency as a puzzle to solve, which keeps your focus on her, even when her behavior doesn't merit it. Backup options are rarely ignored entirely. They are strategically engaged just enough to remain available. A third warning sign is her avoidance of meaningful commitment. She may avoid introducing you to friends or family, sidestep serious discussions about exclusivity, or keep the future vague. This avoidance communicates that she does not view you as central to her life. Men often misread this as independence or caution, but it's usually a psychological tactic to maintain options while keeping you emotionally engaged. The fourth indicator is energy allocation. Observe how she prioritizes her attention and effort. Does she invest time in other men, hobbies, or social circles while giving you minimal focus? The most telling clue is not what she says, but how she chooses to spend her energy consistently. Women show priority through action. If you're left on standby, the message is clear. Here's your reflection challenge. Assess her behavior over the last month. Does she consistently prioritize you, or does she keep you engaged while leaving space open for other options? Drop your answer in the comments, like, subscribe, and share this with a friend who needs to wake up to these patterns before investing more heart and energy. Here's the final truth most men avoid facing. If she's keeping you as a backup, you'll feel it before you see it. Attraction is not just verbal, it's deeply psychological. Women communicate their priorities through patterns, attention, and energy. If you're being treated as an option, subtle cues will reveal it, even if she smiles, flirts, or compliments you. Awareness is the only way to break free before you invest too much. One of the most obvious signs is emotional distance. She may engage in conversation or intimacy, but avoids vulnerability and depth. Serious topics are deflected or minimized, and moments of connection are limited. This isn't coincidence. Women instinctively invest their emotional energy where it matters most. If she's keeping you as a backup, she will maintain emotional boundaries that ensure you remain engaged without becoming central to her life. Another warning sign is inconsistency in commitment. She may make plans that are vague, cancel last minute, or avoid scheduling shared experiences. Her words may promise attention or interest, but her actions rarely align. This discrepancy creates subtle tension that keeps backup options chasing, creating a psychological loop where desire is fueled by uncertainty. Men often interpret this as keeping it exciting, but the underlying reality is a lack of priority. Selective engagement is also telling. She communicates when it suits her, responds to texts or calls irregularly, and gives affection in measured doses. This creates a sense of scarcity, which unconsciously keeps you invested. Women are wired to signal priority through action, not charm or compliments. If you are left guessing repeatedly, it's a sign you are in a secondary role. Finally, observe energy allocation. Does she consistently dedicate time and focus to other pursuits, people, or interests while leaving you in waiting? Women prioritize what they value most, and attention is a currency of desire. When you notice patterns where you're left on the sidelines emotionally, socially, or practically, it's a red flag that she's keeping you in reserve. Here's your final reflection challenge. Look at her actions over the last month. Does she invest consistently, or is she keeping you engaged only when convenient? Drop your answer in the comments. Like, subscribe, and share this with a friend who needs to recognize these subtle but critical signals before investing more time, energy, and heart. Recognize your value, protect your emotional space, and stop being someone else's backup.